Good evening. Coming up in Mello TV Evening News, 18 persons arrested by the police during an operation in Gregory Park, St. Catherine. Opposition PNP condemns the government for high crime rate. Jamaica Fire Brigade Assistant Commissioner faces attempted rape charges. And the Buff Bay Tax Office reopens after a 5-year closure. And now the news in detail. A targeted police operation carried out today in the Gregory Park community of Portmore, St. Catherine, resulted in 18 persons being arrested. The arrests comes as the police work to curb the ongoing violence in the area and rid the community of criminal elements. Senior Superintendent of Police Stephanie Lindsay spoke with Mello TV and gave details on the operation.
Since the incident on Saturday where a number of houses were burnt, the security forces have been maintaining a very strong presence in the area. They started an operation earlier today, sometime after 5. And the purpose of the operation is to capture some of the individuals who are suspect and persons of interest in the incident, because it is very important that the presence of the security is here and they are carrying out this operation to reassure the citizens that the security forces are in charge of what's happening here. So far they have in custody 3 persons of interest that were named. We are getting information that they picked up a number of persons that they are currently processing, and we are waiting confirmation that one of the division's most wanted, who is a key person of interest in the burning incident, is among those that they are currently processing. So far they have seized 2 illegal firearms and they have 1 person in custody for that.
The attack in Gregory Park has resulted in the loss of 1 life and left over 40 individuals without homes. During the operation, which received support from the Jamaica Defense Force, 2 individuals were also charged in relation to the discovery of 2 loaded pistols along with ammunition. SSP Lindsay assured the public that further operations are planned. These operations will continue to prioritize the well-being of residents and pursue those responsible for the criminal acts. In the meantime, senior members of the People's National Party, the PNP, toured a section of Gregory Park where the 11 homes were firebombed on Walker's Avenue. Peter Bunting, who was present during the tour, expressed his dissatisfaction with the government.
You know, I'm disappointed in the Prime Minister, though not surprised. Whenever an incident like this occurs, he seeks to blame others. He is responsible for the safety and security of the people in this country. He campaigned on that in 2015. He was on every political platform across Jamaica, saying that they had the answers and they would do better. Now that he's been there for 7+ years, he has to take full responsibility for the failures in national security.
Mr. Bunting further pointed to what he says is the distressing crime rates.
60 people murdered in the first 12 days of August in this country. That is 5 per day. When he was jumping up and down and complaining, it was 3 per day. So thousands more have been killed under his administration, been murdered under his administration, than if he had just maintained the average that had occurred in the previous administration. Never even improve on it. If he had just maintained that average, thousands more, and the programs, thousands more Jamaicans would have been alive today, 7 years later.
PNP Chairman Angela Brown Burke spoke on the values that all citizens should uphold and the need for better opportunities.
We need programs designed to make sure that the correct values, yes, the correct principles in how we live together, that those are what is abounding, and those is what we are spreading, and that is what we are pushing.
And
Yes,
specific opportunities
and
for women.
that come into that too, and also that in terms of the solutions that we provide and the avenues to make sure that they are able to take care of their children, they are able to provide better for their children, that there are specific opportunities for our women, for our mothers, yes, so that they can earn, they can live better, and they can pass on better values to their children.
In other news this evening, Assistant Commissioner at the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Floyd McLean, has been formally charged in connection with the alleged attempted rape and inappropriate touching of a 14-year-old girl who had volunteered at the Montego Bay Fire Department. The charges against McLean, who holds responsibility for the brigade's Region 4, were brought forward this afternoon following actions taken by the St. James Police. The arrest of McLean took place yesterday after the young volunteer reported the incident to the police's Center for Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse, CISOCA. The distressing incident occurred while the teenage girl was participating in voluntary service at the fire department, during which she claims to have been subjected to unwanted advances by McLean. With a tenure spanning 33 years within the fire brigade, McLean ascended to a senior management position 3 years ago. However, the allegations now cast a shadow over his long-standing career. In the meantime, 46-year-old Bruce Stewart, who is also known as Zaggy, of a St. Andrew address, is facing charges related to the alleged rape of an 11-year-old girl in her home. The man, who works in the scrap metal industry, is accused to have visited the girl's home in June, where he, being a family acquaintance, asked to use the bathroom. After gaining entry, it is reported that Stewart proceeded to the young girl's bedroom, where he allegedly restrained and sexually assaulted her. Following the incident, law enforcement was notified, prompting an inquiry by the Hunts Bay Police. Stewart was apprehended on August 5. His identification was confirmed during a lineup, after which he was interviewed in the presence of his legal representative. Arrangements for his court appearance are currently underway. The Buff Bay Tax Office in Portland has recently reopened its doors after a closure in 2018. The office, situated at Sam's Plaza in Buff Bay, officially resumed operations on August 3. The previous closure was a result of significant damage inflicted by environmental factors and the quality of the initial construction materials. During the closure period, the office's staff were reassigned to neighboring tax offices in Anoka Bay and Port Antonio. To address the situation, the tax authority undertook the task of locating a more suitable temporary space while also devising a long-term plan for the reconstruction of the original site. The authority is actively preparing for the execution of this plan, which includes rebuilding the office at the original location. In this process, careful consideration is being given to the unique environmental conditions and associated mitigation strategies. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, has received a report outlining the quantification of reparations for the transatlantic slave trade. The report, titled Reparations for Transatlantic Chattel Slavery in the Americas and the Caribbean, was presented by Judge Patrick Robinson from the International Court of Justice. The report, compiled by the international economics consulting firm Brattle, calculates that Jamaica is owed $9.5 trillion in reparations from the United Kingdom and $103 billion from Spain for their roles in the transatlantic slave trade. Judge Robinson emphasized the historical importance of the report.
The report determines the reparations that are due in respect of over 30 states and overseas territories in which TCS was carried out. The total sum of reparations to be paid by all former slaveholding states in respect of the period of enslavement is about 107 trillion US dollars. In respect of the post-enslavement period, the total sum to be paid is about 22 trillion US dollars, making a grand total of about 130 trillion US dollars.
Judge Robinson acknowledged that the figures might seem high, but stressed their significance in accurately representing the magnitude of the injustices of slavery.
The high figures, in my view, constitute a plain, unvarnished statement of the grossness of the practice of TCS. Nonetheless, we decided to recommend to countries entitled to reparations that they consider, in consultation with former slaveholding countries, the payment of reparations over a 10-year period, a 15-year period, a 20-year period, or a 25-year period.
Minister Grange expressed gratitude to Judge Robinson for his presentation and requested that the National Council on Reparation analyze the report's findings to guide the development of a roadmap to reparation. Minister Grange urged the Council to expedite this process to determine the best course of action and advice to present to the Cabinet. And those are the stories making the news this evening. Thank you for tuning in to Mello TV Evening News. I'm Nicole Hales. Stay safe and thanks for watching.